Om Shanti.
Respond to करना चाहिए ना.
Should respond like Om Shanti again.
जितना प्यार से respond करो ना, तो naturally भाषा हर बात की.
When you respond with a lot of love,
प्यार रखने वाली बना सच्चाई प्रेम.
then your language naturally becomes one filled with honesty and that love.
भाषा natural हो जाए.
Language becomes filled with honesty and love naturally. Om Shanti has everything merged in it.
सारा परिवार से एक 2 मिनट में रोशन भाई दूर क्यों बैठते हो, सामने जगह खाली पड़ी है, नजदीक बैठे हैं.
In just a couple of minutes,
बहुत दूर बैठा है.
those who are sitting very far away to come close at the front where their seats empty.
भाइयों को दूर बैठने की पता नहीं.
Dadi's mantra always come closer, come closer. She doesn't understand how you can enjoy yourself sitting at the back listening to Papa's knowledge.
अच्छा, आज क्या वर्णन करेंगे?
So what shall we chit chat about today? Of course we'll do exactly what we did in the previous Kalpa,
नहीं करेंगे.
but it will be something very good, it will be something new.
वही करेंगे, रिपीट नहीं करेंगे. इस कल पहले वाली
We
करेंगे.
will do the same thing that we did in the last Kalpa, but it won't be repetition in this Kalpa.
अभी संगम युग पर नहीं होंगी.
At the confluence age, it will be something new. The same thing doesn't repeat at the confluence age.
चाहती हूँ. अब पुरुषार्थ करना का भाग्य अभी जो संगम युग पर है, सारे कल्प में नहीं है.
The fortune of making effort that we have at the confluence age,
पुरुषार्थ करने का तरीका
we
जो
don't
है,
have it
जिस तरीके
throughout any other time in the cycle.
पढ़ाई भी इतनी बड़ी ऊंची पढ़ना है.
We want to study such an elevated study,
पढ़ाई में जरूर बुद्धि देनी पड़ती है.
and we definitely have to use, in fact we have to make sure that we're using our intellect in that study.
पढ़ाई में देना आवश्यक.
It's essential to use our intellect in the study, and when earning an income, then also
पढ़ाई में बुद्धि,
in the
कमाई में.
what you need in earning an income. In studying, you need the intellect,
इच्छा हो जो कमाना है कमाई.
but in earning an income, there has to be that deep desire that yes, I want to earn so much,
समय कमाई में दिल से दे देंगे.
and you'll give your time with your heart in that because you're so
कमाई के
interested to
time
earn
भले रात
something.
हो.
Even if it's night time or daytime, doesn't matter how many hours you've already spent doing business, you'll still want to continue because you are earning an
खुशी
income.
से, बहुत खुशी से.
You'll do that with a lot of happiness.
खाना भी न मिले ना, कमाई
That time,
है.
even if you don't get any food, if you haven't had your meals, it doesn't matter. You'll feel,
पढ़ाई में
okay,
देनी है
I'll
बुद्धि.
eat later. But in
जो बुद्धि
studying,
इधर-उधर न हो.
you need to make sure that your intellect isn't wandering anywhere.
टेंशन में, पढ़ाई में ध्यान से पढ़ाई पढ़े.
You should study with attention
जो अमल करे.
so that you're then able to put it into practice.
पढ़ने का टाइम अलग और अमल करने का टाइम अलग, डबल टाइम है.
The time to study and then the time to put into practice, it takes double the time.
कभी कहती हो आप लोगों ने 5% भी पुरुषार्थ नहीं किया है.
So, Daddy sometimes tells the whole gathering that you haven't even made 5% effort. This is the result that Daddy sees. So why does Daddy say this?
और आज हमने थोड़ों से रोजाना की. मैंने कहा स्ट्रिक्ट होकर पुरुषार्थ भी नहीं करना है.
This morning Daddy was meeting only a few people, but then she was telling everyone that you mustn't make effort being very strict, very hard on yourself. Then you feel, well, all day long you just have to make effort, nothing but effort, and you get tired with that, you feel heavy with that.
सवेरे उठना है.
At the time of going to sleep at night, you worried that you have to wake up early in the morning.
लेट न हो जाए.
So, and you're always watching the time that you don't get late for going to sleep, and you stay up during the morning thinking you don't want to get late for Amritvela. So there is that heaviness all the
खाने के समय
time.
बाबा को याद करना है, भोजन बनने से
At the
याद
time
करना
you
है,
have to remember Baba. At the time of eating you have to remember
पर ये
Baba.
सब
So all of
पुरुषार्थ
this
नहीं है
is
वास्तव
effort.
में,
You feel that it's an
डिसिप्लिन।
effort, but in fact it's not effort, it's a discipline.
आप समझ जाना मेरे पास, डिसिप्लिन से चलने में
When you conducting yourself
नेचुरल
with discipline, then you feel that everything
सफलता भी
becomes
होती है,
natural and you
मेहनत
achieve,
नहीं होती
you
है,
have success naturally. It doesn't take any
लेकिन
hard work.
औरों को प्रेरणा मिलती है,
But your discipline inspires
हल्कापन
others
होता है,
also.
वेस्ट टाइम नहीं जाता
It
है,
gives a feeling of lightness and your time isn't wasted.
बुद्धि भी व्यर्थ ख्यालों में नहीं जाती है।
Then the intellect isn't pulled into wasteful thoughts either.
मुझे याद आया एक बारी हमसे क्वेश्चन पूछा था,
Once
मैंने कहा
someone
मैं
asked
नहीं
me a
समझती हूँ, मैंने
question
कोई मेहनत की है अपने मन को दबा के
about making
शांत
effort,
रखने की,
so that he feels that she's
परंतु
never ever
मम्मा
had to
पापा को
make
देख करके
effort to
डिसिप्लिन सीखी है।
really work hard with her mind
समझ
to
रहे संतराम
teach
भाई,
it that discipline.
आप लोग सब भाई होशियार बैठे हैं, हाँ?
But she said, I always learned the
डिसिप्लिन से
discipline from
जो
Mama
भी
and Baba.
कारोबार कुछ भी होता है,
Whatever activities you need to do,
औरों को
when you
प्रेरणा
do that
मिलती
with
है,
discipline, you inspire
सफला होता है, सब
others
कुछ एक्यूरेट
and
उसका
everything works accurately and you see the
एक्स्ट्रा
success
मेहनत
in
बढ़ती
that.
नहीं है।
It doesn't take any extra effort in that. It becomes a natural way
माइंड
of
को
doing
भी
everything.
वीक थॉट्स में, व्यर्थ थॉट्स में, दूसरों के ख्यालों में या पुराने ख्यालों में
If you're
व्यस्त कर
constantly
देते हैं ना,
engaging
फिर
your
बेचारा
mind
व्यस्त
in
होता है, फिर
waste
निकालो,
thoughts,
व्यस्त
weak
होता है, फिर
thoughts,
निकालो,
unnecessary thoughts, then it's like you keep
ये
it
पुरुषार्थ
engaged
नहीं
in that
चाहिए।
and then you have to free your mind from that. It becomes engaged in that, then you have to free it again.
अच्छी तरह से
So this
ध्यान
takes
से
a lot of effort. So this is
समझो,
not the kind of effort we need to be
व्यर्थ करके
making.
फिर उसको सुधारो, व्यर्थ
You
करके
do
सुधारो,
something wasteful, then you have to put it right. You do something wasteful again, you have to put that right
फिर औरों
again.
को
So
लगता है भाई
this is
पुरुषार्थ
not
बेचारा
right
मेहनत
effort.
बहुत करता है,
Then
बहुत
others
मेहनत
feel
करता
that yes, this one's
है, परंतु
making so
सफलता
much
उसे मिलती
effort,
नहीं
but they're
है,
not achieving any success. And this
खुद से
makes
बेचारा
them heavy
कॉन्फिडेंट
also.
कम हो जाता है,
You also lose your own
ये नहीं होते।
self-confidence.
इसमें मैं कहती
So
हूँ
this is not the
और
type of
ध्यान
effort
रखो,
we should be making. We have to pay attention to
हर
this
एक को ये राय
particularly.
देती हूँ,
So this is the special advice I'd like to give to everyone, not
और
to
ये
make
समझ
any
में आया
difficult
ना,
effort.
जैसे आजकल साइंस इतना तरीका तर अच्छा अच्छे विज्ञान का जो
Science
बहुत
has invented
काम
so
कहीं
many
सहज हो
methods
गया,
that
बहुत सहज
everything
हो गया,
becomes so easy.
और हर डिपार्टमेंट में देखे, इलेक्ट्रिक देखो,
In
कार्पेंटर,
every
फलाना
department you go, you'll find so
आगे जो
many
मेहनत वाले
inventions
काम
of
होते थे ना,
science
अभी
which has
बहुत थोड़ा
really reduced
जल्दी
a
जल्दी
lot
काम
of
होता
their
है।
hard work. Previously it used to
वो
take a lot
कंप्यूटर
of
का मैं
time.
सुनती हूँ, पता नहीं क्या क्या, मैं जानती नहीं हूँ, बस कहते हैं, अभी ये पुरानी सिस्टम है, अभी ये सिस्टम है, ये सिस्टम है, अभी ये
In
सिस्टम
terms of
है।
computers
अरे
also,
क्या
even something
कंप्यूटर,
that was used 10 years ago, people tell her that now
कहते
all of
वो
that is an old
ये
system,
सिस्टम
now
क्यों
it's
चेंज
something
करते
completely
रहते घड़ी
new.
घड़ी।
Why do we
अभी
keep
रिक
on
भाई कहते हैं
insisting that
सारे जो चित्र है
systems?
ना कंप्यूटर में कर देंगे।
Brother Rick was telling Daddy that everything will be computerized now, and Daddy just saw everything in Agra.
इतनी मेहनत
So
वाली बात,
everything that used to
कंप्यूटर
take
ने
a lot of
इतना
time
सबको
before,
इतना होशियार बना दिया है,
that can be computerized and made so easy. So
लोग
the
कहते हैं ये
computers have
सहज
made
है ना,
everyone so clever
बिल्कुल
in
सहज
making
है,
everything easy.
मेरे को ये काम दे दो हो जाएगा।
So they say, well, just give me this thing to do and I'll make sure it gets
और
done
कई
very
बुजुर्ग कई
easily.
कंप्यूटर सीख रहे हैं, अच्छी तरह सीख रहे
Many
हैं,
old people are also learning to use the computers now.
कहते हैं इसमें कई काम सहज हो जाते हैं।
They feel that many things can be done easily
तो
through the
ये भी एक
computers.
साइलेंस का जो कंप्यूटर है ना,
So even our computer of silence,
दिन प्रतिदिन बड़ा
that
अच्छा,
works wonders day by day also.
अच्छी एक्सपेरिमेंट,
You can do many good
जो बहुत
experiments in
मेहनत है ना,
that.
अभी मेहनत नहीं है।
What used to take a lot of effort, you find that doesn't take that hard effort now.
बाबा ऊपर है, मैं यहाँ हूँ, ऐसे याद करने से भी दर्द पड़ता है थोड़ा।
When you think that oh, Baba is so far up above and I am down here and you have to make effort
ऐसे
to
याद
remember
करने को
Baba,
ऊपर है,
then
दूर
it
देश
feels
का रहने
very
वाला
hard
है,
work.
कैसे याद करेंगे?
You think here's the one who's living so far away and I am here down below, so how
बाबा
can I
कहते
remember
देह
him?
मन को छोड़,
But Baba says
ऐसे
just
सब बैठ जाओ, मेरे
renounce
सामने
body
आओ,
consciousness and just
मैं
sit down
तुमको खींच लूँगा।
comfortably and I'll come in front of you or I'll pull you up here.
आज की बोली में था,
Just in today's Murli, Baba was talking
तुम
about this.
बच्चे अपन को आत्मा समझो,
children, just consider yourselves to be souls.
न्यारे हो जाओ.
Become detached from the body.
तो मैंने कभी कहा तो डिटैच होना, न्यारा होना, उपराम होना, तो मैंने कहा क्या बोल रही है? मुझे कहते तुम क्या भाषा तुम्हारी क्या है? डिटैच होना,
To be
न्यारा रहना,
detached,
उपराम होना, तीनों अलग है.
to be beyond,
अलग है.
and not to be engrossed in
इंग्लिश
something.
वालों को तकलीफ होती है, कहती तुम्हारी
In English,
भाषा
it's a little
हम कैसे
difficult to
समझे?
separate the three words.
डिटैच रहना,
To remain detached,
न्यारा
that's
रहना,
understood, but then to remain
उपराम रहना.
detached in such a way that you're not connected with anything in that way.
तो ये
One
ऐसी
is
ऐसी जो
detached
विधियां हैं ना,
through not
समझे
having
ना,
attachment, and one is not being engrossed in something.
ये
And the
यूज
third
करे
is
ना,
to remain completely beyond. So when you use this kind of techniques for being in silence, then you'll find that yes, your intellect is able to work very well.
मदद करता है बहुत.
Then you feel,
क्यों
yes,
बाबा
Baba
की
is
जो
also
विधि कैच
helping
कर
a
ली ना,
great
शरीर को
deal.
कैच कर लिया ना,
You're able to catch Baba's signals, and you
थोड़ा
find you're
ध्यान
able
से
to
कैच
do
कर
it
लिया
very
कि
easily.
मतलब क्या है.
By
डिटैच
paying a
माना
little bit
कहाँ भी
attention, you're able
अटैचमेंट
to.
है ना,
Detachment means not to have the slightest bit of
न
attachment.
मेरी छूटती है न किसी की छूटती है.
When there's attachment, then you're not able to let go of it, either your own attachment to
कहाँ
others
न
or others
कहाँ.
being attached to you.
लौकिक है या अलौकिक है.
Sometimes there's attachment to
अलौकिक
lockic
तक होती नहीं
relations,
है.
or sometimes there's
अलौकिक में
attachment to
अटैचमेंट होती
alokik.
नहीं है.
But in fact, that is saying that there's no attachment in
अटैचमेंट
alokik
है एक
relationships.
लौकिक
So attachments are
पुराने
in the lokic family
अनेक जन्मों के
because of
कर्मों के हिसाब से.
karmic accounts of so many
दूसरा
past births,
अटैचमेंट की भी आदत है.
and the other is an habit of attachment.
बाबा का बनने के बाद भी देहधारी से अटैचमेंट.
Even after belonging to Baba, you have attachment to bodily beings.
देहधारी से अटैचमेंट हुआ तो देह से अटैचमेंट है, न कि आत्मा से. देह
When
से
you have attachment to
देहधारी
bodily
की हुई ना,
beings, it means having attachment to
मुर्दे
the
से तो
body,
attachment
not to
रखेंगे.
the soul. And it's not a
मरे हुए
question
से
of,
अटैचमेंट नहीं रखेंगे ना.
there's no question of having attachment to the
कोई
corpses or
शरीर
those
छोड़
who
दे
are
तो उनसे
already
अटैचमेंट
dead.
रखेंगे क्या?
You won't have
बड़े रोएंगे
attachment to
कितना भी,
someone
रख
who's
के क्या
already
करेंगे?
died, left their body. You may cry for
जिस
them,
व्यक्ति
but
के
you're
साथ
not going to have any
अटैचमेंट
attachment
था
to
वो
them.
शरीर छोड़ दिया, आत्मा तो चली
The
गई.
person you had attachment
शरीर
with
को लेकर
has
बैठे
left their body, and so that soul has gone somewhere else.
नहीं.
So you're not going to have
फिर कितना भी
attachment
रोता
with the
रहे,
body and keep the body there any longer. You may
वो
cry
तो
a
आत्मा
little
तो चली
bit
गई.
for some
शरीर
time,
से अटैचमेंट.
but
तो
the soul has
आत्मा
left, and
जिस
so the
शरीर में
attachment is
है
broken.
उसके साथ जो अटैचमेंट है, अटैचमेंट आत्मा की शरीर द्वारा
The
दूसरे के
attachment
शरीर से अटैचमेंट है.
the attachment is to the body of another being,
ये
whilst that
आत्मा
being
में
is
जब
in the
अटैचमेंट
in
है,
the
डिटैच
body.
नहीं होती है,
So
तो
when
बाबा
there
याद
is
करना मुझको.
attachment, you're not able to become detached, then it becomes very
तो शायद
difficult
क्या
to
करेगा?
remember the Father. So how can you remember then when you can't even become detached?
तो सूक्ष्म चेकिंग, बड़ी गहरी चेकिंग की बात.
So it's a question of
जब तक
having
किस
very
बात की
deep,
है?
subtle checking. Why are there so many complications? Because there isn't that
गड़बड़
subtle
है
checking.
attachment.
The complications is because of the attachment.
अटैचमेंट में फिर इच्छा भी होती है,
In
ममता भी
attachment,
होती है.
there are desires, and there's
जिसके
a
साथ
lot of
attachment
love
होती है,
also,
उनके साथ
superficial love.
हमसे थोड़ा जो expect भी करते हैं,
Whoever
जो
you
ऐसे
have
करना
love
चाहिए,
for,
वैसे करना
whoever you
चाहिए.
have attachment
वो
to,
नहीं
you have
करते हैं तो
greater
दुख होता है.
expectations of them, and then when those expectations are not fulfilled,
ये
you feel
सब
sorrow.
इस बात को विनाशी जान
Understand
ये सब
everything to be perishable.
ईश्वर का बनने में बिल्कुल मेरे को पकड़ के बैठती है अटैचमेंट.
Attachment
या
really
मैं
holds
पकड़
on
के
to
बैठी
me
हूँ या
very
मेरे को
tightly
पकड़
when I
के
try to belong to God. Either I'm holding on to it
उसके
tightly
लिए
or
आप
it is
जितने
holding on to
हैमर
me.
लगाओ,
No
पुरुषार्थ
matter
मेहनत
how
करो,
much
वो
you
मरने
hammer
तक नहीं
yourself,
छोड़ेगी.
it won't let
इसलिए
you
अभी
let go
मर
of you even until you die.
एक
So
बारी
I
बैठ
first
करके
have to
शांति
die
से मर जाना
completely.
चाहिए.
So I should just sit down peacefully somewhere and die completely.
ये
Die
पुरुषार्थ
of
बना,
this attachment.
भाई ये मैं जीते जी
Die
मैं
alive so that
थोड़ी
there
कहानी
isn't
सुना लेती
any
हूँ.
more attachments.
कईयों ने सुनी है हमारी कहानी,
I'd like
पर
to
बहुत
share a
बड़े नहीं
story
सुनी
which
होगी.
maybe
5%
many,
ने सुनी होगी.
about 5% would have heard this story
5%
already,
शायद नहीं सुनी होगी.
but maybe 80,
जब मैं ज्ञान में
85%
आई,
haven't heard this story.
एकदम जंप लगा के आई थी.
When I came into knowledge,
बस
I
भाग
really
भाग
had
में
to
लाख
take a
और सब
leap.
कुछ
I
मिला.
had to take a jump.
कुछ की मुझे
I
परवाह
just
नहीं
felt
है.
that I found Baba and I found everything, and I'm not concerned
उसकी भी
about
नहीं.
anything at all.
माँ की न बात.
neither my mother, my father, no, not
अंदर मस्ती
anything.
इतनी बात मत
There was so much intoxication
तभी तो
inside
कुछ
that I
पता नहीं
wasn't
था
concerned of anything
बाबा
else.
ऐसी जगह में बिठाएंगा
At
प्रभु
that
ये
time, I
होगा
wasn't
कुछ पता
aware
नहीं
that
था
Baba would
अभी तो
make me
आपको
an
सब कुछ पता
instrument
है
in the yagya and this is what I would have to do. I wasn't aware of any of this.
घर भी
Now, when you
मिलता
come
है
into
स्थान भी
knowledge,
मिलता है खाना भी
then you're
मिलता है
aware of
क्या करने
everything.
का है पता है सब कुछ पता है
You
तभी
have
कुछ
a
पता
home, you have
है
food, you're given
मुझे
everything,
ये
everything is
लाइफ चाहिए
provided
यही
for you.
फैसला मन में ये
But when she came to
जीना
Baba,
है तो
then
किस
Dadi
पर्पस के
felt,
लिए
well,
मैं
I
क्यों
don't want
जन्म
this
चाहती हूँ
life, the other life. She felt, well, I'm leading a
तो
life, but
उसी
what is
जंप
my
पर लगा के
purpose
फिर
in
मैंने कहा
life? I
बर्तन
don't want the
मांजेंगी
other life.
भाषण भाषण पता ही नहीं हमको
She
के
said,
भाषण भी करना है
I'll wash the
बर्तन
dishes
मांजेंगी
here. I didn't know
और पढ़ी
anything
लिखी
about
तो थी नहीं
giving
कोई नौकरी वोकरी
lectures.
कर बात भी नहीं थी कोई
I
नौकरी करना
wasn't
है
educated, so I never felt that I was going to get a
कहाँ
job or
किसको खाना
anything.
बना के खिलाएंगी
But I felt that
जहाँ खाना किसको बना के
food,
खिलाएंगी तो
I'll
कोई
prepare
खाना तो
food,
मिलेगा
I'll
खाना तुम
prepare
कहाँ से
food
बना
and
के
feed
खिला सकते
others,
हो
and so when I'm feeding
वो
others,
तो
then
7 बरस
definitely
की
I'll
उम्र
have
में ही
something
खाना
to eat
बनाना
also.
सीखी थी
I'd learned how to cook from the age of 7 years old.
घर में नौकर होते हुए
We used
7
to have
बरस की
servants in the house,
ये
but we
सीखना
still
चाहिए
learned how to prepare food ourselves, how to cook
भोजन बनाना
ourselves.
सीखना चाहिए
So it's
जरूरी है
necessary to learn how to
खाना
cook.
जानते हैं
If
अच्छा
you know
खाना
how
मिलता
to
है
eat,
बच्चे को मिलता है बड़े खुश होते हैं नहीं मिलता है
when
तो
children or old people, anyone receives
तुम
good
बनाओ
food, they
प्यार
become
से
very happy. And so when you make it with a
खिलाएंगे
lot of
कह
love
के आप तो
and
खाओ
feed it to others,
पहले
then
आप खाओ ना
when
पहले
you
आप
offer it to
खाओ
someone, then they'll say, no, you eat
ये
it
नहीं कि
first.
मैं कैसे खाऊं कहाँ से खाऊं
Not that
नहीं
you
पहले
always
आप
have the question, how
मैं
am I
बना
going
के
to
खिलाऊं
eat? Where am I going to get
तो
something
जब मैं
from? But
दिल्ली
when
में
you
थी ना
prepare
तो वो
something,
सारी
then
पुरानी
and you
हिस्ट्री
offer
याद
that to
दिलाई फिर
others, others will offer
बहुत
it to you also in
सेंटर्स
return.
भोग बनाने से
So when I
स्थापन
was
हुए
in service on when I was on service in Delhi, then many
कई
centers were
सेंटर्स पर
established on the
भोजन
basis of
बना के
offering
खिलाया
bhog.
है तब वो ब्राह्मण बने हैं
I used to prepare food,
तभी उन्होंने
offer
यज्ञ
bhog to
सेवा शुरू
Baba,
की
and
है
feed that to the people there, and then they would
भले
then be
कुछ भी नहीं है
responsible for
शुगर भी
opening
नहीं है घी भी
centers.
नहीं है
We never had
तो भी
sugar, we
अच्छा
never had ghee, but
बना के
yet
खिला सकते हैं
we still used to prepare something, offer that to Baba, and
सेवा
then feed
भाव है
that to
ना
others because we had that
प्यार है
feeling
ये
of
पुरस्कार थोड़ी
serving
है
everyone. So this
पुरस्कार
isn't
नहीं है
making effort, this is just
तो
a question
ऐसा
of
करूं
giving love.
जिसमें भगवान की याद भी रहे
So let me do something in which there's remembrance
औरों को
of God,
भगवान को याद करने का मेरे द्वारा मुझ में निमित्त बनूं
and I become
मुझे
an
भगवान को
instrument
याद
to
कराने
remind
के लिए
others
और
of
अंत
God,
मतें मेरी अच्छी हो
and my final moments would then be very good. The only concern was
और
just
आज
that
फिर मैं ऐड करती हूँ ऐड नहीं जो रियल बात है
nowadays a little bit
सारे
further
विश्व
addition
भर
in that
जितने भी ब्राह्मण हैं
all the Brahmins in the
मैं
whole
सीधा
world,
कहती हूँ 5% भी मैं आत्मा हूँ बाबा मेरा है जो
Dadi
माया
feels
जुड़ी
perhaps
है
even 5% of
मैं सदा
souls
खुश रहे
don't have this kind of
चेहरा चमकता
practice that
रहे
thinking I'm a soul,
ऐसा
I'm
खुश रहूं
belonging to
कहते हैं
Baba, I'm a
उनको
sparkling
फुर्सत नहीं
soul,
है
always happy. It's
सेवा
like
ये है
they
फला
don't
ये
have
है
the
इधर जाना
time
है
to
उधर
make that kind of
जाना है
effort.
ये प्लान है ये
All the time
प्रोग्राम
they're
है
concerned about this is the service I have
उसके
to
लिए
do, this is
बहुत
what I have
टाइम
to do, this is the program I have to plan
तभी
for,
मैं कहती हूँ
this is where I have to go. So all the time they're concerned about just thoughts of service.
5% अपन को नहीं देते हैं
It's like they
आज दिन
don't
तक
give
अभी
themselves even
हम
5% of
5%
time
सेवा को
for
देती है
themselves. But for Dadi herself, she feels that she's giving herself, she's giving service only 5% of her
सेवा तो
time.
जरूर होंगी ना परिवार है ना
Service
जन्मकलप
will
पहले वाले
definitely
आने
take
वाले हैं
place.
ना
The
बाबा के बच्चे
souls
हैं
from
ना
the
वो
previous
देखेंगे
cycle
ये
will
सुखी है तो
definitely
देखेंगे मैं भी
come.
सुखी हो जाऊंगी ना
When they see that you are happy, then they'll feel, I also
विश्वास
want
बैठ
to
जाएगा
become like you and want
देखेंगे
to
यही भी
become
तो
just as
दुखी है
happी.
तो
But
भाई
when they say,
यही
well,
बेचारी
this one
दुखी
is
है
also
इतना साल हो गया
experiencing sorrow, she's been in Gyan for so long and
तो
still
उसको
she's in
कदम
that
आगे
state,
बढ़ाने में मुश्किल तो हो जाएगा
then they
ना
will feel it difficult to move forward even.
कितना भी बाबा बाबा करती रहूं त्रिमूर्ति
No
समझती
matter
रहूं
how
चक्कर
much I
समझाती रहूं
I continue
वो
to
कहेंगे
speak
मेरे को
of
सिर पे
Baba,
दर्द
how
पड़ता है
much
तू
I
मुझ
try to explain the Trimurti or other aspects of knowledge, others will feel, well, this
भले
is
आप
just too
कितना भी
much, I can't
समझाओ
do anymore.
भाई ऐसा नहीं समझाओ कुछ भी न समझाओ
Even if you don't
आपको
explain
खुश देख
anything,
करके
but just seeing you happy,
बड़ी भाग्यवान
then others will say, yes, I'm very fortunate. They will see that you are very fortunate when they see you happy.
मैं
And
भी
they'll
ऐसी
feel
निकल
that,
रही हूँ
yes, you have truly found God, and then they'll also want to have the
तो
same
क्या
kind
काम
of love
कराती
for
हूँ
God.
तो मैं घड़ी घड़ी बोलेंगी पुरुषार्थ बड़ा अच्छा है
So it's like that is mantra now for this time, few
पुरुषार्थ करते
days,
करते
that
सारे
effort is very
60
easy,
कहते
effort is very good.
66 औरों
They
के लिए
say
दादी
that
के लिए 67 कहती है मैं कह रही 66 एक वर्ष
Dadi
कम
was
देर
one
से आई
year
हूँ।
late in coming into knowledge, and so she says that it's 66
पर
years since I've been
पुरुषार्थ में
making
ही आई,
effort.
बड़ी खुश रही है।
But even in making that
थकी
effort,
कभी
I've
नहीं
been
हूँ।
very happy in my life. I've
पुरुषार्थ से
never
कभी
become
थकावट नहीं
tired
लगी।
of service. I've never become tired
और
of
गुलजार
effort.
दादी ने दिल्ली के बड़े बड़े सभा के बीच में वरदान दिया, बाबा का ब्लेसिंग दिया, अथक भव।
Gulzar Dadi gave Dadi the blessing in the gathering of about 7,000 people in
थकना नहीं
Delhi that
चाहिए।
Dadi is the one who's received the blessing of being
थकावट
completely
है,
tireless.
फालतू काम बढ़ाते हैं ना,
And so
तब
there shouldn't be any kind of tiredness. It's only when you increase work for
और
yourself
काम जो करो
unnecessarily
सहज होता
that you feel
जाए,
tired.
सब खुश होते जाए,
But if you
और
just
फिर एक
continue
सेकंड
to
में
do
कछुए में से
everything
फ्री हो जाओ।
in a very easy way and you achieve success in that, then you become
कछुआ क्या
detached from
करता है?
that like
काम
you
करता है,
withdraw from everything
लगता
like
ही
a
नहीं कुछ करता
tortoise.
है, चलता है,
You feel
चलता
you don't even feel that the tortoise is doing anything. It's just slowly moving along, but
कमल फिर
without
क्या
making
करता है?
any effort.
रचना नीचे है,
What does the
फूल ऊपर
lotus
है,
do? The
ऊपर आम है।
creation is down below. You can't see anything underneath, but the lotus
रचना
is
में
up
मिट्टी में
above.
भरी है,
The creation, the
उसकी जो
roots
रचना
and
है ना सब
everything
मिट्टी में
else
भरी है,
is in
ये
the
काम की है,
mud underneath, but all of
एक
that
एक
is
चीज
also
काम की है।
useful. Everything of the lotus is useful. The lotus up above is so beautiful and
कईयों
yet
को
so
पता नहीं है वो
detached.
कैसे यूज किया खाया जाता है, लेकिन हम लोगों को पता है तीनों चीजें काम की है, बड़ी अच्छी काम की
We
है।
understand the
जैसे
importance of
खाते
all the different parts of the lotus, the
हैं,
roots, the seeds,
तीनों
the
जैसे
flower,
खाओ,
everything.
बड़ी अच्छी है। तो रचना भी अच्छी
They
है,
make sabji of the
भले
roots.
मट्टी में है,
Then you
पर
use you
जिसकी
just
रचना
eat
है
that
ना,
like a
जिसकी
nut,
रचना है
the
ना,
seeds.
वो न्यारा है।
But the lotus
अटैचमेंट को
itself is
छोड़ो,
completely
न्यारा बनो, तो आपकी रचना भी काम लायक है।
detached from the creation. The creator is completely detached
और
from the
रचना
creation.
रचता बताता है,
But the creator
रचना
shows
भले मिट्टी में, पर मेरे को देखो
that
मिट्टी का
even though
अच्छा
the
प्रभाव।
creation is down below in the mud, I'm not affected by it at all.
जब डिटैच रहे,
So when you remain detached,
न्यारापने का
then it's easy
भगवान
for
ने
you
गिफ्ट
not
दिया।
to remain engrossed. It's like
क्या
you
कहते हैं कि मैं
receive
रचता
a
हूँ,
gift of not becoming engrossed in
ये
something.
सब मेरी रचना है,
God says, well, I'm also the creator, and all of this is my
और
creation, but
मेरी
He is not
रचना है,
engrossed
पर
in the
मैं रचता
creation.
रचना से न्यारा हूँ।
I, the creator, am completely
मैं
separate
तो
from the
मेरी रचना ऐसे थोड़ी कहता हूँ।
creation. I'm not so caught up with my creation.
ये गीत कितना सुंदर है,
The
रचना
song,
जिसकी इतनी
the
सुंदर
one
है,
whose
तो कैसा
creation is
होगा।
so beautiful, you can imagine how beautiful the creator himself would be.
तो
And
बाबा
so
कहते हैं
God
रचता और
himself
रचना
is
का
such a
जब ज्ञान
beautiful
बुद्धि में आता है
creator.
ना, अच्छी तरह से,
When you have knowledge
तो
in your
detach,
intellect very well, then very
पांच अंगुली
clearly,
डिटैच है,
then you're able
दो
to remain
ऐसे हो जाए
detached.
तो
The 5 fingers are also completely
ये
detached. If
अपरांग
there
गुण,
were
ये इसका
2
अपरांग गुण है, दोनों
fingers
ऐसे ऐसे
attached,
ऐसे
then
इकट्ठी हो
you'd
जाए
say
तो,
that something's
या
not
ये इनके
right.
साथ जुट जाए तो
If any 2 fingers became attached, then
हाथी
it
काम
would
नहीं
be
करेगा।
difficult. The hands wouldn't work. The hand wouldn't work.
दोनों पाँव ऐसे अटैच हो जाए तो
If the 2 feet were to become attached, you wouldn't be able to walk.
दोनों ये बात जुट जाए।
Just imagine what
पुरुषार्थ
would the
क्या करूं?
condition be. So what's the effort that you need
भाई
to
ये
make?
लेफ्ट है, ये राइट है,
One's
लेफ्ट
the
चलेगा
left
तो
foot,
राइट
one's
चलेगा,
the
ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे।
left
अगर
foot and right
डिटैच
foot,
नहीं
and both
होंगे
do their own
तो चलेंगे
individual
कैसे?
work. If they don't remain detached, how
तो
can you
ये
walk?
समझने की बात है, सबसे बड़ा पुरुषार्थ में मेहनत बढ़ाने वाला
So the
attachment
thing that makes effort very laborious, that increases your effort, is attachment.
बड़ा दुखदाई है,
It causes a lot of sorrow.
सुखी होने देती नहीं है।
It doesn't allow you to
आप
remain
आत्मा
happy.
बस ऐसे करते
Just sit down. I,
मौज
the
में
soul,
बैठे।
completely detached, and you experience
ना
yourself to
कोई
be in
अपना, ना कोई
pleasure.
अपनी।
No one belongs to me. I belong to no one
बोले, तुम
else.
कहाँ गई? अरे
Where
कहाँ
did
गई?
you go?
बड़े बाबा
Well,
के पास बैठी
I
हूँ।
just went to Baba. I'm sitting with my Baba. Nowhere else.
तुमको कोई नहीं पूछेगा, भले कोई न पूछे।
You'll
बाबा
feel
खुशी में
others will
बैठा है।
say, well, no one will ask about you. No one will bother
लेकिन
about you.
आप
Well, it doesn't matter.
परेशान
Baba
होंगी,
is with
फिर
me.
ये होगा,
Others will
अच्छा
say,
नहीं
you
कर
be
जाएगा।
careful, because
मेरा
otherwise you'll
कर्म,
be
मेरा भाग्य मेरे हाथों में है।
in
जब
distress.
हर
You'll
बात
be
काट के
completely alone, but doesn't matter. I have my fortune with me. I have my actions with me. I have Baba with me.
कर्म हूँ,
I have my own
मेरा
virtues. I have my own
कोई मेरा बाप
actions.
नहीं
I have
देगा,
my fortune.
बेटा नहीं देगा, कोई
No
नहीं
one
मेरा
else
भाग्य
is
मेरे
going
हाथ
to
में
give
बनेगा।
me anything in my fortune. No
जो
one will
कल की मुझे
become a
बहुत अच्छी
partner in
लगी,
my fortune.
कर्म भोग,
Neither my children nor my parents. Yesterday's thing in the Murli where
भोग
Baba
देंगे
explained
ना,
about the
वो
suffering of
पूरा लेंगे,
karma.
रिटर्न लेंगे, फिर
whoever gives you something, they'll definitely take the return of that, and they'll also take it with an interest. They won't give it to you free, interest free. When people are looking after Daddy and they say, should I give you this, should I give you that, and Daddy says, no, I can look after myself. You don't worry about me. I can look after my own self. Otherwise, it's a burden on me. I can look after my own self. That is very independent and doesn't want anyone to waste any thoughts on her. But if there's any kind of debt that you owe to someone, that will create a lot of pressure in the head. Baba says, child, remember Baba with your heart, but if you have attachment in your heart, then how can you remember Baba? If there is attachment to something else, like what? Attachment in the heart for someone else, then who will the intellect remember? How can you remain Manmanabhav? If you're not even Manmanabhav, then how can you be Madhyajibo? How can you remember your aim and inheritance? Only those who are in the state of Manmanabhav are able to be in that state of Madhyajibo. Then you find that remembrance is very easy if you are first in the state of Manmanabhav. Baba says, I've come to make you worthy to go to heaven. I'm telling you so that you can earn an income in the world. You just have to study very well and then come and rule in this kingdom. So in your effort, create the sanskars of royalty, not the sanskars of being subjects. Subjects are always working hard, but a king never works hard. He doesn't have to labor over anything. A king maintains his reality and royalty. Baba says, I'm teaching you yoga, Raj Yoga, the yoga to become kings. And by having that reality, you will develop that royalty. Let there be so much royalty that your vision, your thoughts become such that they give happiness to everyone. Three brothers, the deity of truth, the deity of happiness, and the deity of cooperation. This is what I have to become. So this isn't effort, but just becoming that. Those who feel that this is effort, raise your hands. To become a deity of truth, happiness, and cooperation. It's only through having that honesty and truthfulness that you become a deity. When you become a deity, then what will you do? You'll remain happy and you'll give happiness to others. In Sukdev, the child of Vyas, is not the one who's just writing the scriptures or reading the scriptures, but he's the one who gives a lot of happiness. Vyas is the one who's speaking the scriptures, who's written the scriptures, but his child Sukdev is the one who's giving happiness constantly. How does he give that happiness? He's just constantly giving cooperation. He's ever ready in everything. Doesn't see whether it's the night or the day. Never has the question, well, is this the time that you should ask me to help you? You've disturbed me in my sleep. Then you can't become the one who's the deity of cooperation, the deity of happiness, or the deity of peace. No, truth. Day and night they feel, sweet Baba, you've given me so much happiness. And even if someone tries to take happiness from you in your dreams, then just awaken and give them that happiness. What do I have inside myself? So check, am I constantly swinging in the swing of happiness? You have the happiness of childhood because you're the children of God. So just swing in the swings of happiness. Swing in the swings of supersensuous joy. So who will swing in the swing of supersensuous joy? Those who have totally conquered their physical senses and their mind. They have made their physical sense
डिसिप्लिन
is
सिखा
completely
करके
cool, calm, peaceful, and
अतीन्द्रिय सुख, अंदर
disciplined.
के सुख को कोई छीन नहीं सकता।
No one can snatch away your super
फिर दुख
senses
आ
joy,
नहीं
which is
सकता।
something
दुख
completely
के
deep
पहाड़ भी आ
inside.
जाए ना, वो वहीं हो
Even if
जाएंगे।
mountains of sorrow come, they will become like mustard seeds
कुछ नहीं
when you're in
होता,
that state of happiness.
फूंक से खलास हो जाएंगे,
Just by blowing
रुई के
to
बराबर।
them, they'll flow away like cotton wool.
तो बड़ी बात नहीं है,
Then you feel that
क्योंकि
is
अंदर
nothing
से
difficult.
अतीन्द्रिय सुख है ना। अतीन्द्रिय सुख उसके पास होगा जिसके जो मुरली पर मस्ताना है।
And those who totally lost in the love of the Murli
मन
will
में
have
हर टाइम
super
मुरली
senses
बजती है,
joy. They'll constantly just have the Murli playing in their mind.
आवाज कानों में जो बाप का है गूंजता रहता है।
It's like the Father's sound is
कोई
constantly
आवाज
echoing in
न
their
सुनाई
ears.
पड़ता है, न
They
सुनने का
don't
जी
hear
चाहता है,
anything else. They don't have the desire to listen to anything else.
इच्छा ही नहीं है।
There's just no desire for
अतीन्द्रिय सुख
anything
का
else.
झूला जो है ना,
So the swing of
परमानंद
super
के प्राप्त
sensuous
कराता है।
joy enables you to experience supreme
परमानंद
bliss.
उपराम स्थिति में
In the stage
परमानंद
of being completely beyond,
गीता में
you
भी शब्द है,
experience the stage of supreme bliss.
अंत में जो मुझ परमात्मा को
In the
परम
Gita,
धाम
it's
निवासी बाप
mentioned,
के याद में रहने वाला है,
those who
परम
remember
आनंद
me,
को
the one who's the resident of Paramdam,
इसलिए
the
हम कहते
supreme
हैं
abode,
पुरुषार्थ
they're
अपने
the
भाग्य
ones who are
से
able
नहीं
to
है।
experience supreme bliss. And this is why I tell all of you that you haven't made even
तरस भी
5%
पड़ता है,
effort.
फैमिली
I
के साथ
feel
में प्यार भी है,
mercy for you as a
अब
family. There's a
त्यागी
lot of
बने हो
love for
तो
you.
तप
All of
त्यागी
you have
सच्चे बनो।
become renunciates, but now become the true renunciates.
बहुत मोटी मोटी बातों का त्याग हो गया है।
We've renounced all the gross things, that's fine. But now
मोटी
to
मोटी
be able to
बातें जैसे आपको
renounce
कहे
subtle things.
कोई सिगरेट पियो, शराब पियो, कोई सिनेमा
If
में आओ,
someone was to tell you
नहीं,
to smoke or drink or go to the movies, then you'll feel, no, I don't want to do that anymore because you've renounced all of that.
कोई खराब संग में
If anyone asks you to
तो
go
ये तो
into
हो नहीं
bad
सकता है।
company, then you feel, I can't do this anymore because you've completely renounced all of those things.
लोगों बस फालतू कपड़े ले वो फलाना करो,
If
ये भी
someone
नहीं
tells you
है।
to buy too many clothes because
सिंपल
of
रहना
greed,
अच्छा
you
लगता है।
feel, no, I don't want to do that because I prefer just to live in
बाकी
simplicity.
क्या है,
But what still remains?
क्या रहा है, जो अतीन्द्रिय सुख नहीं है,
What still
तो
remains
सच्ची
that prevents you
मेहनत
from
अपने ऊपर
experiencing super
आत्मबंधी
senses
स्थिति
joy?
रहने की नहीं।
It's like we haven't made that real incognito effort of
जो
being in that
सदाई
stage
खुशी
of
के झूले में
soul
झूले,
consciousness, which enables you to constantly swing in
अतीन्द्रिय
super
सुख में
senses joy,
स्वराज अधिकारी बने,
to be able to have that right to
परमानंद में रहे,
sovereignty
साक्षात बाप
in
सम्मान,
super senses
ऐसा
joy,
रूप हो
and to have such a
जो
form that you're
देखते ही
able to be in that
किसकी
state of supreme
बुद्धि
bliss,
बाबा
the
को
same
खींच
as the
ले।
Father.
फिर आती हूँ उस मतलब की बात को जो मैंने कहा
And then
मैं
coming
से
back
सुनी
to the
होगी।
main thing
तो
of
जब मैं बाबा के
today's
पास आई तो ये तीनों
class,
बातें अच्छी लगती थी,
when I came
खुशी
to
तो
Baba,
बहुत।
I used to enjoy doing all these
जो आज
three
बाबा ने
things.
कहा ना,
I used to
मानसरोवर
experience a
में
lot
डुबकी
of
लगाओ और
happiness.
परी बन जाओ,
Today,
वो
Baba said,
अनुभव था।
take a dip in the knowledge which changes humans into
समझा
angels.
था डुबकी लगाने से
And I used to feel that, yes, by just going deep into this ocean of knowledge, I'll become very light. I'll become like an angel.
अतीन्द्रिय सुख में रहने का अंदर गुप्त पुरुषार्थ मुरली से अतीन्द्रिय सुख होता है।
It's by making that
जब ज्ञान में
incognito
डुबकी लगाओ
effort
फिर से
of
बाहर आओ
being with
तो बाहर
knowledge
मुक्त
of the
वायुमंडल
Murli that you're able to stay in that state of super sensuous joy.
अंतर्मुखी बने नहीं देता है।
When you're caught up with
अरे
the
कितनी
external
डुबकी लगाओ उसके तरफ ले
atmosphere,
चलते हैं,
then
मुरली
you're
से
not able to
मिलते हैं।
remain
बहुत
introverted.
मुरली अच्छी थी। फिर क्या हुआ?
When you take a dip into the ocean of knowledge, you enjoy it and you feel very
दिन
fresh.
भर में अतीन्द्रिय सुख में रहना है मेरे को,
Just the awareness
ये
that throughout the
इसलिए
day
बाबा
I
ने
want to
मुरली जो
maintain
चलाई,
this state of super
वो
sensuous
मेरा
joy.
लक्ष्य होवे ना, वो लक्ष्य
So I should
जो
have
मामा
that
का
aim.
अच्छा देंगे, लक्ष्य लक्ष्य दाता
Mama always used to say, always remember the aim and the bestower of that aim. What is your aim and who has given you that
क्या
aim?
बना रहा है वो सामने है,
Keep in front of you what the
वो
sculptor
मुझे
is
बनना है
making
और कोई
you.
बात बुद्धि में आती नहीं है।
This is what I have to become, and so there's
पुराने
nothing
सबूत
else in your
जानते हो,
intellect.
जानते हो ना, पुराने बचपन से जानते हो ना।
From childhood, I'm sure you
और कोई
remember,
धंधा
and
किया है कुछ?
I've never done
क्या
anything
था?
else but just keeping aware
एक दो
of,
साल के
remaining
बाद,
aware of
दो
all
साल
of
के
this. After
बाद,
2
थोड़ी
years,
उदासी मेरे पास आई,
I felt a little bit unhappy with myself.
थोड़ी।
just a little bit.
वो जो अतीन्द्रिय सुख की जो खुशी
That
की
state
लहर थी
of,
ना,
that wave of supersensuous joy had
बाबा
reduced a
को
little
बाबा
bit.
बेटा पता नहीं मुझे क्या हुआ,
I used to try to say to
बच्ची कुछ
myself,
नहीं है।
Baba belongs to me, I
मम्मा
belong
से
to
पूछो,
Baba,
मम्मा को
and I
बताओ,
would
तो
say,
मम्मा तो रोना भी आ जाए, मम्मा मुझे वो जो खुशी थी ना
and I used to tell
कम हो
Mama,
गई है।
Baba, and that Baba,
मम्मा
the
कहे
happiness
नहीं
that I
कुछ
used to
नहीं है।
experience before, I don't experience
मैंने
that
कहा मम्मा मैं
anymore.
ऐसे थोड़ी कंबाइन
And
करती
Mama
हूँ।
would even have tears. Daddy would say, but Mama, I'm not saying it just like that. I just feel that I don't have that same happiness that I used to have
मम्मा भी ये
before.
सोचने लगी है
And Mama used to think that there's nothing wrong,
जब है
everything's
तो
fine.
अच्छी, पर
But then
क्या
Mama
हुआ
also
है,
would start
तो
thinking
ना
that,
बाबा
well, she's
जवाब देवे ना
very
मम्मा
good.
जवाब देवे।
Neither Baba would say
तो मैं
anything,
पीछे
neither
पड़ी मैं
Mama
बाबा
would
का
say anything. That they would both feel that the child is very good, there's nothing
आखिर
wrong with her, but still she would
मम्मा
feel
एक
that she
दिन
doesn't have
बैठी
that same
तो ऐसे
happiness.
कभी कभी मैं किसी को देखती हूँ उदास, मैं कहती हूँ आओ तो मैं थोड़ा, जैसे मम्मा ने मुझे
So one
इंजेक्शन
day
लगाया तो
Mama
मुझे क्या
sat and
लगता है।
gave me drishti. So now also when I see that someone's not so happy,
तो
then I'll
मम्मा
call
ने
them and
बैठ के
sit with
प्यार
them
से
and then give them some drishti
मेरे को अच्छी
and
तरह से
try to
बैठ के
help them. So Mama also sat
कहा
with me
तो
that day and gave me
समझती
drishti.
हूँ
And then she said, I feel
तुमने तो उछल मार के
that you have taken a leap
सबको ऐसे छोड़ा
and renounced
जैसे मुझे
everyone
कोई
in
नहीं,
such a
क्योंकि
way
मैंने
as
लिख भी
though
दिया था
no one belongs to
जैसे मैं
you.
मर गई,
And she had even written to her
मेरे पीछा
family
कोई नहीं
that
करेगा।
I've now died and no one should follow me in this way, that I'm
आदिदास को
completely
ट्रेन में
separate
चढ़कर
from
कतार
you.
लिख दी थी,
I had gone taken the
नहीं
midnight
तो फिर
train
बिठा देते वाले।
and written them a letter in the train. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let me
परंतु
go.
तुम ये एक नेचर भी थी,
But it was also my nature at
बचपन
that
से
time
सबको सुख दिया था,
to give
किसी को किसी
happiness
को
to
नहीं दिया।
everyone from childhood. I never ever gave sorrow
कोई भी
to
टाइम
anyone,
पड़ोसी भी होगा,
neighbors or anyone. No matter what time anyone came to me, I always gave them
नवाबजादी की
happiness.
नेचर नहीं थी।
I didn't have the nature of
नवाबजाद
being
समझते हैं ना, हुक्मरानी से मुझे कुछ
being
कोई
someone
खाना
who
दे
was
दे, कोई कपड़ा
constantly
दे दे,
ordering someone,
नवाबजादी की
wanting to
नेचर
be
नहीं थी।
served at all the time.
नवाबजादी की जो
I would
नेचर
rather
होती है ना,
serve
वो
others
खतरनाक
than
है।
be waited upon. I wasn't like a mistress who was waited
हुक्मरानी
upon,
तो है नहीं।
that I would ask for something and it had to be brought to me.
तो इससे मम्मा ने कहा वो तुमको खींचते हैं,
So Mama said that they are actually pulling you and this is why you're not feeling happiness. And
मैंने
so
भी
I
समझा।
felt that yes, Mama has now really
अभी
understood
तक मैं
what's wrong
अपन को
with me.
जानकी समझ
And
के
I
बैठी हूँ,
also
तभी वो मुझे
understood this.
खींचते हैं।
And she said it's because I
मैं
am still
जानकी मर गई
considering
जब
myself to
अंदर
be
से।
Janki that
बाबा
that they were
भगवान,
pulling me, but I have
उस
now
दिन से
died.
लेकर के
From that
कभी
day I
कोई कुछ
felt
नहीं
that I'm no
सकता,
longer Janki,
याद
but I'm
करे
a
तो भगवान
child
को
of
याद
God.
करे।
And I felt if anyone should remember, then they should remember God, not me. No one can say
कोई
that they
कर्म
belong to
बंधन
me.
अवश्य, मोह अवश्य, प्यार अवश्य याद नहीं कर सकता।
No one can remember me out of any kind of
कोई दुख
bondage,
अवश्य
any
याद करता,
kind of
बाबा ने आज
karmic
क्या ना,
account.
किसको पति ने दुख दिया होगा, मर जाएगा थोड़ी रोएंगी इतना।
If someone's given sorrow to
प्यार
their
दिया होगा,
husband, then
तो
if
ये
someone's
जो
lost their
प्यार
husband
दिया
and the
हुआ
husband has
था,
given the happiness, then
उसी
she'll
वश
cry
से
after him. But
कोई
if
याद
he's
नहीं
given
करे।
sorrow, then she won't cry after him.
प्यार अवश्य भी याद न करे।
But for me, I feel no one should remember me even out of love like that.
अगर दुख दिया है तो भी खिमा ले लो, चलो
If
मेरा
I've
पूरा
given someone sorrow, then let me ask for
मैं छंदार
forgiveness. Let
पुष्कर
me
करके
just settle all those karmic accounts
तो
by
कोई
making
पुराना
donations and
हिसाब
performing
किताब
charity. So any
डिटैच
old
होने नहीं
accounts
देता,
don't
तो
allow you to
करते हुए
become
समझ में
detached.
रहते न्यारेपन की स्थिति में,
But whilst performing
न्यारेपन की स्थिति में
actions,
है मालिकपन की,
when you remain in that state of
जो
being
आज बाबा ने
completely
कहा ना,
separate, then you have
जो
that feeling
बातें
of being a
शक्तियाँ दी
master.
है,
Today also Baba
वो
said, Baba has
शक्तियाँ
given
अपने
you the
आप
powers,
आर्डर में रहे,
so let all of these
आर्डर
powers be
करें वरना
in
हाथ
order.
उठाएं, इंसल्ट मेरी।
If I order a power and it doesn't come, then it's like I'm being
समय पर
insulted
जो
at that
शक्ति की
time.
आवश्यकता है,
At
उसका
whatever
काम
time you
हकीकत
need
की
any power,
सखियाँ हैं।
then think of those powers as your
जैसे
friends and
राजाएं
they should come in front
जब
of you
अपनी
at the time you call
लड़की की
them.
शादी कराते थे,
When a king used to
शादी
have
करके
the
लड़की ससुर घर
princess
जाएगी,
married,
पर उनको दहेज में सखियाँ देते थे।
the princess would
कोई
get the
बेचारी अभी लड़के के
maids
पास तो गई,
or her
और सब
friends
सगे
as
वाले
her
तो यहाँ रह गए,
part of the
तो
dowry.
सखियाँ साथ होंगी तो अच्छा है।
The
तो
king
दहेज
would
में
feel
सखियाँ
that
मिलती थी।
she's left her home
तो
and
बाबा
family
ने
and
भी
everything gone to another place, and so there
सखियाँ
won't be anything
छोड़ती है
else that's
ससुर,
familiar with her. So the king
ससुर
would
घर
give
जाती है,
her
जब
friends
तक वहाँ
as
दिल लग
part of the
जाए
dowry.
तब सखियाँ देता है,
So Baba also
इनर
gives us
फ्रेंड्स
friends
है,
until we get to that state of, until we get to that kingdom
फ्रेंड्स
of
सखियाँ
happiness.
फ्रेंड्स है।
So the powers are our friends.
वो जरा भी हमको दुख होने नहीं देंगी.
They won't allow us to experience the slightest bit of
तो ये
sorrow
जो
if you
शक्तियाँ हैं ना,
keep them with yourself
सहनशक्ति,
as
संभालने
friends.
की शक्ति, समेटने की शक्ति, एक एक शक्ति को अच्छी तरह से
So understand
आठी
each
शक्ति
power very clearly,
से
very
शक्तिपात
well.
भुजा दिखाते हैं.
The 8 powers are shown as the 8 arms.
बिल्कुल. ताकि निर्णय शक्ति भी अच्छी से करना. ये करना है.
The
ये
power
करना
to
है.
decide, use that in a second. I have to do this, I mustn't do this. In a second, you completely finish everything. Sometimes you feel, well, Baba has said this, and then you feel, Baba, I can't do this, I can't do that. You receive Srimad, you have to do this, you receive advice, and then you still question, well, what can I do? I'm not able to do this. Then what can Baba do if you're questioning the things that he's telling you to do?
पुरुषार्थ में जो मेहनत आप बढ़ाते हो ना, वो थोड़ा समझो, फालतू मेहनत बढ़ाते हो.
In the effort that you make, you're increasing work for yourself unnecessarily because you're making so much effort and yet you don't experience happiness. So make effort with happiness and take happiness from the effort you're making. With happiness, you'll also receive power. When there's weakness, then the powers go away. The powers are trying to work, but then you feel weak, and so where are the powers going to work? It's the powers that God has given you, and if you don't allow them to work, then they'll just go away from you. They are being there in front of me to accompany me in everything that I'm doing, and yet I'm not taking help from them. So today I'll share something new with you. Some news, new news. Jinti Ben was talking to Dadi this morning. Dadi's book of Companion of God has become world famous now. Many people all over the world will say that I've read this book. Now one of the biggest publishers he showed an interest that HCI people have published it, but now someone else, another bigger publisher, wants to publish it. But he's saying that he wants to publish the book again, but with an addition in that of the benefits that they have received in reading the book, The Companion of God. The book is, of course, been made from the classes that Dadi has given. And so they were asking Dadi what to give it, what name to give the book when it was written. And so Dadi said, well, what else can I say? It's just the benefits of Baba's companionship that I've had. Whatever is written in there, it's like the benefits that I've experienced in making Baba my companion. And so the feeling is that I want everyone else to have that benefit. So this is not effort, but this is just good wishes for the self and good wishes for others. So when you do everything with good wishes, with that deep feeling of love, then it's definitely successful. When you do service with the deep feeling of love, that's also successful. In bhakti also, when someone has that deep love, then you receive the success of that. But instead of having that deep love, if you have desires that I should have this, I should receive this, then that's very dangerous. The desires that interfere in between destroy that feeling of love in everything. Where there are desires, there is no God, but where there is that deep love, then God is present there also. You have God's companionship only when there is that true love, when there is that faith in love. In your effort, you have God's company. In your service, you have God's company. In the family also, we all are working together as Baba's children, and there is that deep feeling of good wishes, the feeling that yes, all of us are one big family. It's not like we have any special friendship with anyone, but there isn't any enmity with anyone either. It's wrong when there is any kind of favoritism in this way. it's a mistake when there's extra
ऐसी ऐसी
friendship with
भूलें
someone
जो है
or there's
ना
enmity with
वो
someone.
न हो, ये खबरदार हो,
So I have to remain very cautious that I
होशियार
don't have
रहो।
this kind of particular
इसी के
relationship
मैं
with
अभी मैं
anyone.
5% जो कहती हूँ ना, इस बात में कहती हूँ,
So it's in this that
इससे
I
से
mean I'm
दुष्टता
referring
चलती है,
to when I'm speaking of the
इसके से
5% of
सूक्ष्म
effort.
दुश्मनी पुरानी चलती आ रही है।
With some there's extra friendship, but with some there's
हाँ,
enmity which has
वो अति
continued over
वयस्क
a
में
long
रह नहीं
period of
सकते,
time. And this doesn't allow you to stay in that state of supersensuous
अपनी
joy.
स्थिति जमा नहीं सकेगा।
You won't be able to create
बाबा
your
कहते अपनी
stage.
स्थिति जमाओ,
So Baba says,
मजबूत
make
बनाओ,
your stage very firm, make it very
बाबा
strong.
के प्यारे हो,
Remain lost in Baba's
डाले
love.
न
You are
न्यारे
loved
बनो,
by Baba.
डिटैच,
Remain detached where you have to take something from Baba.
न्यारा,
So detached from everything else.
ऑब्जर्वर कहते हैं ना, क्या कहते हैं,
Detached observer.
साखी,
So first remain detached,
जिसका
then a
के साखियों करके
detached
मैं प्ले कर रहा
observer,
हूँ,
that you're playing your part
जैसे
just
करने
with
इनसे
that
अभी इनसे अभी
detachment.
इनसे
1
ढूंढा हुआ
minute
है
with
ड्रामा,
one person, next minute with another
तो
person,
राम
so
बाबा
everything
के
is fixed
साथ
in the
मैं
drama.
प्रगति,
And then remain completely
तो
beyond
क्या
and
होगा,
just staying
सुनेंगे,
in that companionship
कि
of
ये
the
तरीका
Father.
आ गया ना तो
So
आदत
once you've
बनेगी।
learned this method,
तो
then you
मेरा
develop this
भावना
habit
ये
in
जो
a
भावना
natural
है,
way.
बहुत पुरुषार्थ जो किया है
So
ना
my
उसका
good
फल
wishes
खाओ,
is that don't make any hard effort, but whatever you've done so far,
सदा
experience or eat the
उस
fruit of that
है
now,
फल,
so that you become very
और
strong, very
व्यर्थ
powerful.
न संकल्प हो, न
Let there not be any weak
श्वास हो,
thoughts. Let your breath
कहाँ
not be
समय
wasted
जाए, न
unnecessarily in
बोलो, न
anything,
सोचो,
not to have any wasteful
ये
words,
व्यर्थ
any
से फ्री
wasteful
रखो
thoughts.
ना,
Keep
तो
yourself
समर्थ
free
संकल्पों
from
की
any kind
शक्ति,
of wastage, and the power of these
देखा
powerful
समर्थ
thoughts
शक्तियों की शक्ति सर्व शक्तियों से काम लेंगी।
will enable you to be able
आज
to
का
take power from
समर्थ संकल्प
or
की
to be able to
शक्ति
use all the powers. Today's
सर्व
slogan,
शक्तियों से अपने आप काम लेंगी,
the power of
समर्थता
powerful thoughts
हमारे
will enable you to
जीवन
take
का
power from all the
दर्शन
powers, and
अद्भुत है जन्म
you will
का। ओम
experience
शांति।
success to be your
अभी
birthright.
ओआरसी ने मुझे प्यार से टोली
So
बना
now,
के दी है,
ORC
प्यार
has sent me some toli specially for all of you.
ओआरसी की कमाल है,
It's a wonder of
लाइन लाइन
ORC, and so I'll feed everyone,
योग
give
अच्छा
everyone
कहते हैं।
that toli. So first to have powerful yoga. Om Shanti.